Another thing to point out is the fact that representation matters. This is probably a good time for anyone to look up the difference between a democracy and a republic. And so far, constitutionally, America has been a constitutional republic, which is, hey, we have representation. We find somebody that represents us in whatever capacity, and we are going to elect them to ensure that, hey, they can be our eyes and ears when it comes to laws, when it comes to policies, when it comes to trade. Now, constitutionally, that's what was supposed to happen, but as we can see, society has progressed, especially Washington has progressed, which is why this is where I'm like, we have to be careful in individual states that we are not electing any type of official that is more Washington than they are local based, because you see that a lot, especially here in the state that I'm in. And one of the things that the young man said is that we have no representation in the conservative side of, or the Republican side, that are actually representing or being an example for us. Meaning, all we see is Geritals in Washington, D.C. All we see for the most part on the Republican side is Geritals. Even in the local basis, why do they not have a diverse of thought or a diverse of age group? And that is very crucial because, again, what people are misunderstanding is the majority right now is the consumer base, and the consumer base is millennials and Gen Zs. And when I say consumer, I'm talking about goods and services, right? I'm not talking about at 401k or assets, so to speak. And what he said is true, because this is something that I've saw even when I was a part of one of my local boards, is the fact that had it not been for me trying to be on that board, which was closer to the 50s and up, they were only voting according to their interests, and it would have never been according to the younger interests. And I use that example to show, if you don't have any representation to care about not going to wars, not progressing the AI demons, affordability, removing property taxes, and not stopping the migration, because migration is directly connected to the workforce, then what kind of representation do you have? You have none. It just looks like you have it. This is why Trump coming on the scene in 2015, 2016 was so controversial, because I don't think many people understood that Trump was a long life Democrat. And it almost seemed as if he hijacked the Republican Party. This is what I think he did. But what Trump was a representation of was a person that had some Democrat views, but they were still conservative when it came to family. They were still conservative when it came to things that pretty much hold the family structure. And that's what people could not understand, because you really don't see that in the Democratic Party. A person that has a Democratic view, but they are conservative when it comes to family. They are conservative when it comes to marriage. They are conservative when it comes to certain things. And you don't see that. Yeah, you have a bunch of people who say that they're Christians and they're in the Democratic Party, but however, when it comes to voting that way, they kind of tote the line and they say, this is politics. But Trump was different. Trump was a person that came from the Democratic side, and he hijacked the Republican Party, as the Republicans had said. The Republicans did not like that. That's the reason why they fought against him so much, because they were like, hey, he's not a true Republican. They didn't like it also because it was like, wait a minute, like the Republicans is really for the working class. We're not for the donors or the rich, because society lied to y'all and made it seem like Democrat was, they gave the illusion and the perception that they were for the average working person. But when you start to do your research, you realize, wait a minute, all of majority of the multimillionaire and billionaires, they're lying long Democrats. Why? Because they pass policies that helps them. This is the reason why they fought so hard not to get that man in. It had nothing to do with what a lot of people thought. It was the fact that he was hijacking a whole nother party that was supposed to be against billionaires. I leave you with this thought. It was not emphasized in schools that the Republican Party it was originally for working class people. Originally. It was for working class people. This is where it starts to get blurry because you have a lot of people who are, of course, who are minorities or who are black who think that, oh no, Republicans are against black. Nah, if you start to do your research, you start realizing, bruh, there's a lot of stuff they left out of history, especially in schools.